Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Must have been my charming good looks which blinded you. Hi, I'm Michael, and this is my presentation for the group. We're talking about Richard the Lionheart. We're talking about his evil brother, John, and we're also talking about the Third Crusade and Magna Carta. Yes, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be intriguing, as they would say. Oh, they never said that, actually. But anyway, so let us begin. In this time of wonder, let us begin. Let us first go over Richard the Lionheart. Richard the Lionheart, usually known as a really good king. Very good. Robin Hood Arrow, one of the three. Now, question being, what made him so great? Why was he called the Coeur de Lion in France? And more importantly, how did him and his brother get along? Well, we'll find out. But first, to him and the Third Crusade. Before we delve any deeper into this, first, certain things must become necessary. Do. Ah, yes. The magic of my happiness. Now, let us talk first about Richard Lionheart. Richard Lionheart. He was a great king. Very good. And the way he got his name was simple. He was a great warrior. He was Lionheart. Coeur de Lion was what he was called in French. He grew up in Aquitaine on the French mainland. He did not spend most of his time in England, even though he was an English king. With this in mind, he was a good king, because in the sense that he was a good warrior. It was expected of kings back then to be good warriors, good fighters. And with this in mind, he was called to the Crusade. The Third Crusade, that is. He went with Philip II Auguste, or Philip Augustus, if you prefer, Frederick Barbarossa, and he left his younger brother John in charge of England and the Angevin Empire, which spanned all the way from the Pyrenees in Spain, just about their border, to Normandy in Brittany and Ireland. With this in mind, let the viewer also hear that he left on land for a time and marched through England, and when he sailed, he found out later, and would find out, that sadly Frederick Barbarossa had died. He had fallen off of his horse and drowned in a river before he could get to the Holy Land to fight. With this, he still persevered, and he went with Philip Augustus to Jerusalem, where he won many battles against the Prince Saladin. And here is where that part will unravel itself before our eyes. Now, to Richard and his campaign in the Holy Land. Richard was a great warrior, and he fought with Philip II and multiple other smaller, significant but insignificant players. He fought, and he fought well, and he won against Saladin many times. Saladin was a good warrior, and he was a good leader, just like Richard. But he was not good enough for the Lionheart, until Philip II had a succession issue in the county of Flanders, at which point he had to return to France to take care of said issue. On hearing the news, Richard cursed, and he basically said, why? He came all this way, and for what? So he had to go back. Richard was unpleased by this, and when he found out that, because of perhaps some lust of his, that Philip II was no longer quite his ally, and so he quickly found himself that his lands in France were under attack by Philip II, and quickly signed a treaty with Saladin, where Saladin kept Jerusalem. And though he did hold on to some parts of Judea in that area of Canaan, they never took Jerusalem. Life, so beautiful. And yet, John didn't even have this much. John Lackland, Richard the Lionheart's brother. He didn't even have that much land to his name after his war with Philip II of France, ending the Angevin Empire, the empire which spanned all of western France. Not even this much. This plot of land right here did he have anymore. Not one bit. He lost Normandy, of which he was descendant King William the Conqueror. He lost this and all of France to Philip II. And even though he did put up a valiant fight, even though he did not, with the Holy Roman Emperor and his nation, he failed, returning to England a pauper, still king, but with no coffers of gold. His only choice was to increase the taxes and to raise them. And out of this, the many legends of Robin Hood ascend to our vision. As to John and Richard's relationship, you could say it was kind of strained. Yeah, John didn't have any land. Richard, all of England, Angevin Empire, that kind of thing. So you could probably assume that, or, logically procure in your mind that they probably weren't very fond of each other. Except for Richard. Richard was kind of jolly. Richard decided it would be a great idea to get captured in foreign lands. He did get captured, but he didn't want to, obviously. But what did happen was he got captured, and when he found out that John was kind of took over his kingdom type of thing, he got back and he was like, "Oh yes, little boy John, yes, you are. Don't worry. Oh, you're a good lad, John." And John's like, "What the heck did I do wrong to you?" And, well, John was actually more like, What did I do wrong to make you like me? Because I'm supposed to like be me. Like, I'm king. I am the king now. That type of thing. But anyway, so their relationship was not great, but Richard was a very merciful guy towards the latter. I mean, he'd forgive the kid who killed him with a crossbow. So that is how he died. And his guards didn't take it that well, so they flayed the kid. So, hey, you win some, you lose some. Magna Carta. Welcome. It means Great Charter. It was written in England June 15th, 1215. It was after one of the Barons' Wars. You see, what happened with us here is the following. So John Lackland, lacking land in the formerly lost Angevin Empire, now his belongings are all gone. So he decides to raise the taxes. Yes? Yes, he does. Okay, we've already been over all this. But with all this in mind, the people get very upset. The barons who are being taxed with more taxes get very upset. And so with this comes a baron war. The barons win, and they force John to sign this charter. This charter, Magna Carta, was signed June 15th, 1215 AD. And what it did is it ensured that the barons would have certain power, and they could not be overridden by the king. For the first time in English history, the king was under the law. And this would lead to the formation of the Constitution of the United States. And the Magna Carta could only have come about, I would say, yes, dear viewer, because of the, I would go as far as to say, because of the dear formation of Rome. But that is a tale for another time. As we conclude this video, I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you have enjoyed all of it. Please, learn something from this. Learn. Partake in the goodness of history. And as always,